Alright, welcome back to the SSLFamilyDad channel. Today we're going to talk about something that's in the news, which I don't often talk about these things, but I think it's a big enough of a deal that it's something that needs to be addressed. And so we're going to talk about the coronavirus today, and should you be prepared? So we're going to talk a little bit about what I'm doing and why. At the end of the video, we'll talk a little bit about why we prepare for these kinds of things. Why is it important for us? So over the last few weeks, or even a couple months now, the coronavirus has been in the news. This virus that came out of China and really took a toll in China. I mean, I think it was like 80,000 people or something like that, or 75,000 people were sick in China, and a couple thousand died from this virus, which isn't that bad as far as the viruses are concerned, and flus and things like that. I mean, the regular flu kills many more people every year and infects many more people every year, and no one freaks out about that. But the difference, I think, with this is that it's unknown. No one has immunity to it. It spreads really quickly, and so it's just kind of, they keep trying to contain this thing, and it keeps jumping to new countries, and now it's here in the United States as of March 3rd today. There's cases popping up in Florida and New York and Illinois and in Washington and California and Texas and all over the place. So normally, the SARS and the bird flu and whatever these other ones have been over the last 20 years, these things have popped up, and I've pretty much ignored these things, as I think most people have. It doesn't really affect us, but this one I think has been a little bit different, and so I think it does warrant a little bit of preparedness mindset. I think it does warrant that we, as regular, average, everyday people, are more actively aware of what's going on, and maybe that we do take a little bit of preparation. Now, I'm not talking about going and raiding the store shelves and stocking up on a year's worth of food and going and living in your bunker. I don't think it's that big of a deal. In fact, I don't think anybody is really afraid of getting the virus. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It seems like it's just like the flu. Most people recover. It has a very low mortality rate. I mean, 2% or something like that. And they're thinking that it's probably much lower than that even. And so getting the virus really isn't that big of a deal unless you have underlying health conditions. Maybe you're elderly or super young, maybe under 5 or 6 years old. You have a weaker immune system, and it can definitely cause issues, as can the regular flu, and that's no different. But I think the real issue is not really getting the virus itself, but what the masses and the people will do, because this thing has been kind of hyped up and built up. And the things in China with entire cities, millions and millions of people being quarantined for months at a time, and people being told to stay in their homes and not go to work, and schools being shut down for 2, 3, 4 weeks in Japan and other places. In Italy, they've quarantined entire towns. They've just cut them right off from the outside world. And so there's a lot of like this overwhelming response to these little hot spots, areas that this thing pops up. And so if those kinds of things happen, if it does start to spread, throughout the communities here in the United States, and they do decide to shut schools down, or people don't want to come into work, they don't want to go, Walmart workers and grocery store workers and the people at the feed stores and other things like that, they don't want to go into work because they're afraid they're going to get the virus. People start to kind of freak out about things. And then you end up having trouble, finding everyday goods and feed for animals, and there's interruptions in our daily life. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. No one's going to starve. It's not going to be that big of a deal, but certainly an annoyance at the least. And if those things do happen, it can definitely interrupt your daily life. And so I think it's wise for anybody at this point, for me anyway, to just take some extra precautions, or maybe get some extra things ready and start to think ahead a little bit more than I normally would. What I have done is we have, not only my family to care for, but I also have a lot of animals to care for. And so I went out and just got a 30-day supply of feed. And I'll kind of stay on top of that. So every week or two, I'll go and get more feed and just kind of stay on top of that, just so I have a little extra supply, a little bit more leeway, with that. And then the other thing is the same thing for our family. Yesterday I went out and did a bunch of shopping, just did a bunch of kind of big grocery shopping trips. Not much out of the ordinary of what we do every month anyway, but just got more longer expiration date type items, canned goods and box foods and things like that we don't normally get a lot of. But that just means that we're going to be in the grocery stores less, we're going to be out in those kinds of places less, and I think that's totally fine. Worst case scenario, we have extra food that's not going to go bad, that we now don't have to go grocery shopping quite as much as we normally would. It's going to save us trips, and it's probably better for us to plan ahead anyway. And so worst case scenario is really that we've just kind of planned ahead a little bit and made life easier for ourselves. So I mean that would be my recommendation, I guess, at this point for anybody, is just to start to have that mindset and just think ahead a little bit. If there are interruptions in daily life or things like that for a little while, it might be a week, might be 2 weeks or something, where there'll be interruptions and things, then just be prepared for that. And I don't think there's any harm in that. So why do we do this? What's the reason that we truly prepare? I'm not worried about getting sick. I'm not worried about, the zombie apocalypse. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just really don't. But honestly, the real reason that we get prepared, I want to make sure that if things do happen, there's uncertainty in the world. That we live in a sinful, broken world that there's uncertainty in. And when things fluctuate, when things go up and down, things like the financial crisis of 2008, the Great Depression in this country, and other things around the world have happened that spring up and they cause turbulence in daily life. I want to be prepared for those things so that I'm not a burden on other people, but that I can go and help other people. I probably have 10 neighbors in this area that are elderly. If I'm not prepared, if I'm scrambling for things and I don't have what I need, I'm worried about caring for my family, I can't go and take care of those people. I can't go and care for people in need. And that's really where our heart is. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to go out and care for other people and not worry about, whether my family has what they need. And so that's one of the biggest reasons why we kind of try to plan ahead. And we should always, in the sustainability community, in the homestead community, and farmers, and really anybody, you should always be thinking ahead anyway. And this is just a reminder that we need to think ahead. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I would love to get your thoughts on this. I'd love to see what you guys think. Is this something that you're just kind of dismissing and you don't care about? Is it something that you're thinking more about, or is it something that are you living in a bunker right now? I'd love to hear from you guys, see what you guys think, and see what your recommendations are. And share that down in the comments below. Don't forget to hit thumbs up on today's video. We've got lots of maple syrup and gardening stuff coming up this week and next week, so stay tuned for that. Videos will be coming out as soon as I can get them edited and released to you guys. So if this is your first time to the SSLFamilyDad channel, I'd love to have you subscribe and follow along for all the DIY and homesteading, farming type fun that we have here. Love to have you tag along for that, and don't forget to hit the bell to get notified when we post new content. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one. So over the last few weeks, or even a little over a month now, the coronavirus is... Okay.